Forgive me, therefore, when you see me withdraw from you with whom I would so gladly mingle. My misfortune is doubly severe from causing me to be misunderstood. No longer can I enjoy recreation and social intercourse, refined conversation, or mutual outpourings of thought. Completely isolated, I only enter society when compelled to do so. I must live like an exile. In company, I am assailed by the most painful apprehensions, from the dread of being exposed to the risk of my condition being observed. What humiliation when anyone beside me heard a flute in the far distance while I heard nothing, or when others heard a shepherd singing and I still heard nothing. Such things brought me to the verge of desperation and well-nigh caused me to put an end to my life. Art alone deterred me. How could I possibly quit the world before bringing forth all that I felt it was my vocation to produce? And thus, I spared this miserable life, so utterly miserable that any sudden change may reduce me at any moment from my best condition into the worst. It is decreed that I must now choose patience for my guide. This I have done. I hope the resolve will not fail me steadfastly to persevere till it may please the inexorable fates to cut the thread of my life. Perhaps I may get better, perhaps not. I am prepared for either. Constrained to become a philosopher in my 28th year. This is no slight trial, more severe on an artist than on anyone else. God looks into my heart. He searches it and knows that love for man and feelings of benevolence have their abode there. O ye who may one day read this, think that you have done me injustice, and let anyone similarly afflicted be consoled by finding one like himself who, in defiance of all the obstacles of nature, has done all in his power to be included in the ranks of estimable artists and men.
4 days later, you wrote again to your brothers another letter. Thus, then, I take leave of you, and with sadness too. The fond hope I brought with me here of being to a certain degree cured now utterly forsakes me. As autumn leaves fall and wither, so are my hopes blighted. Almost as I came, I depart. Even the lofty courage that so often animated me in the lovely days of summer is gone forever. O Providence, vouchsafe me one day of pure felicity. How long have I been estranged from the glad echo of true joy? When, oh my God, when shall I again feel it in the temple of nature and of man? Never? Ah, that would be too hard.
To be or not to be? Yes, yes, and 1,000 times yes. That is always the question.
von Beethoven, 1712 to 1773. Beloved Mother, Maria Magdalena von Beethoven, 1746 to 1787. Drunken Father, Johann von Beethoven, 1739 to 1792. The beloved Countess Josephine Stackelberg, née Brunswick, 1779 to 1821. Beloved brother Caspar Anton Karl von Beethoven, 1774 to 1815, father of Karl. Unknown older brother, Ludwig Maria von Beethoven, born April 1769 and died 6 days later. Beloved baby sister, Anna Maria Franziska von Beethoven, born February 1779 and died 4 days later. Beloved baby brother, Franz Georg von Beethoven, 1781 to 1783. Beloved baby sister, Maria Margareta Josephine von Beethoven, 1786 to 1787.
Karl? Karl, my dearest, dearest Karl. You are not dead, no, not you. Memento Domine famulorum famularumque tuarum, Karl. My nephew. No, my son. You say you hated the way I treated your mother, but did she give me any choice? Oh Lord, Thou canst see into my very heart. God, my refuge, my rock, Thou knowest, had it been possible to do that which I must, without offending the widow, I would have done so. Karl, by the grace of God, you are still with me. But all the others long gone. Mother, my dearest, dearest mother, it seems like an eternity since I could utter the sweet name Mother and hear your kind and loving voice in return. Mercifully, you still live in the silent images evoked by the power of imagination. Had I only known how ill you really were. God, how old was I really back then? 15? 17? Damn you, Papa, you lied so much about my age, even I lost count. I had to be a prodigy, a boy wonder bigger than Mozart.
But he never let you be a child, beating and berating you in private.
Exalting and eulogizing me in public behind closed doors, forcing me to practice till my fingers bled and my heart wept. And still, he'd smack my hands with a stick and scream in my ears, "You are an ingrate, an imbecile, a son of a bitch."
Remember the fourth commandment, B.
I must have been all of 17 when all alone I set out for Vienna. God, what a sorry sight I must have been. Allow me to introduce myself, Ludwig von Beethoven, the bewigged and bony bumpkin from Bonn.
After all the planning and preparation, 2 short weeks in Vienna was all Providence permitted.
Ah, but what a grand 2 weeks it was. Meeting the Emperor Joseph.
Performing for Mozart.
And knowing in my heart I had given him something to talk about. Ah, Wolfgang, what a shame you died before I got the chance to really study with you.
Instead, you did hard time with Papa Hayden.
When the letter from Father came, I thought all hell must have frozen over for him to write to me.
Hurry home. Mother is dying and the children are driving me mad.
Memories. Haunting memories.
Here you ask over and over again, how is Franz? Did Franz eat his breakfast? I couldn't bear to tell you. Your precious son was long dead and buried. In your delusions, or was it in the comfort of your dying dreams that he still lived, still played in the kitchen, still crawled into your bed at night, still called for his mama? How could I put you through those dark days of his dying again? I couldn't. I wouldn't. I didn't. 1,000 times over the course of those wasting away weeks. Franz is doing fine. Oh yes, he has his appetite back. Yes, he asks for you. Why can't I bring him to you? Why, the doctor says we can't risk him catching consumption now, can we? Yes, we both know how frail he is. Papa, how is Papa? Fine, just fine. Is he drinking? Oh no. Knows he must be strong for the sake of the children. How is baby Margareta? Oh, she's doing fine too. Fine. God knows she wasn't fine. 4 months later, the death knell sounded again, this time for you, my dear beloved baby sister. Margareta, I swear you died of a broken heart. There was no consoling you. Motherless, you refused to eat, to sleep, to live. Day after day, you lay helpless, staring into the great nothingness. Night after night you screamed and cried and raged. But there was nothing, absolutely nothing I could do for you. Helpless. I was utterly helpless to save you. To save our mother, and to save our father from himself. That first short trip to Vienna yielded nothing but death, debts, and despair.
God, what a cross I carried back then, babying and bullying and bailing out my father. Little more than a child myself, yet forced to father and mother my 2 brothers. Endure is all I could do. Endure and mourn and grieve. All alone I bore the anger, I bore the shame, the poverty, the grief, till I could bear to hear no more of my brothers weeping, my father's rantings, and the bill collectors banging at the door. Life is loss after loss after loss, more than any man can bear. Had it not been for my art, I would have ended it long ago, but I swore someday I would make music that would make people forget their woes and their weeping, make them feel that this god-awful life was somehow worth living, make them find the will to go on even after all hope was gone. And now, I can't even hear my own music anymore, except here, in the bloody alleys of my heart. Tell me, who can I lean on? Who can I turn to for solace? With whom can I share my tears?
Kindred spirits living divided by
what felt best to reach you? Shall these words endure simply unheard? Sigh the winds of separation, dreaming, daring to embrace the vibration of my heartstrings, strumming softly o'er blue skies. True soulmates, willfully bonded, love remains, retains its ties. No power of man on earth may conquer this purest quest, such clarity. There's no question, no hesitation, no doubt we're loved eternally. Thou art worthy of perfection, or adoration's meant to be. You're my everything for always, and so forever I am with thee.
Why, Karl? Why? Because of me? God say it isn't so. True, for some time I may have been at my wit's end over you. Yes, we all know how I could lose my temper now and again over your abominable ingratitude, your wretched way of life. Lord knows you were trying to kill me before my time. God is my witness, it was not for me that I fretted, no, it was for you that my heart bled. I wanted you to be an artist or a scholar, to live a higher life and not sink down into utter vulgarity. I tried to do the best I could for you, and upon this I can appear before the mightiest of all judges. You know in your heart that I always sought the highest of counsel in my dealings with you. Why, just recently when Friedrich came to visit, much of our conversation revolved around you. When I began telling him how you could lie to my face, he kept insisting I should stand by my guns, be firm with the boy. According to him, his daughter Clara is a prodigy. Heaven help the little girl, she's barely 7, yet he drills her to death on my piano pieces. God forgive me for that. Someday, my Clara will play your Appassionata the way it was meant to be played. Clara is totally obsessed with her. I tried to tell him to allow the child to sometimes be just that, a child. And yet he's determined to make her a great virtuosa. All I told him in no uncertain terms is that a great virtuosa is not made. No, a great virtuosa is born. Yes, no doubt we can help those who are gifted, but we cannot bestow the gift itself. It's God-given. He laughed at that. Pompous ass. No wonder his Clara pretended to be deaf, refusing to talk till she was 4. There's no talking to him anyway. If the child is indeed as good as he says she is, my bet is she was never deaf at all, just smart enough to turn a deaf ear to that old windbag. God, an hour in a room with that braggart and I was suffocating. A walk. I needed to go for a walk, and to that he agreed, insisting that he, like me, enjoys a good afternoon walk. He always takes his Clara along. I was hoping the fresh air might unbutton him a bit, get him to open up about his divorce, about his ex-wife, Mariana. But I'm afraid the man had nothing good to say about her. or his colleague, the man she ran off with. I said, Friedrich, you must take some responsibility for all this while you left Mariana alone too much with Adolf. You can never trust a woman with her male piano teacher. Big laughed at that. Pompous ass. Why, I'm sure at some time Mariana had been a student of yours. Big merely shook his head in acknowledgments. So you see, Friedrich, music is truly a dangerous thing. And most of my lessons of the heart were learned at the piano bench by teaching pretty countesses to play, or more accurately, by not teaching them to play. We nearly burst an artery. Bravo, Mariana, I said to myself. How brave it must be to say, to hell with convention. What a joy to proclaim, let them think what they think, for we know what we know. So many of the women in my life have been like Mariana. Passionate creatures bridled by arranged marriages, marriages based on convenience, made by families and busybodies, brought on by status, money, or both. Love, I shouted. Where does love fit into this equation? Love should be the only reason one should marry. Love and companionship. Vic had a fit right there on the street, screaming how he has gotten even with her. I took the children. They are, after all, my property. Children are not chattel, I raged back at him. You are not a father, you are a slave owner. A feudal lord, a tyrant. It takes great courage to follow your heart. My soul wept for Mariana. Heavenly Father, if it is your will as it is mine, make my music guide Clara back to her mother. If that should happen, I shan't have lived in vain. A half-decade ago, had it not been for your Karl, for your being his guardian, for your absolute belief in the sacredness of that duty, you would have... So long as you walk this wretched earth, my heart held out, had hope, but all that died with you. Josephine, again and again and again, you devastated me. Your infamous da capo alla coda. Damn you. Time and time again, you abandoned me. And I plunged headfirst into that bottomless abyss. Over and over again, I managed to claw my way back into the light of day. And time again, you returned just long enough to push me back off that precipice. You were but 6 months in the grave, and I, having been interred alive, was still digging out. That autumn, all alone in Bowden, I wept and wept and wept as I pictured the leaves, so recently aglow with flaming colors, crumbling, falling to their graveyard ground, then whirling, dancing like dervishes round and round in one last delirious dance to macabre. To me, the fall has always been awake, a time to bid farewell, get blind drunk, weep. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. After too much Rhine wine, I miraculously passed out, only to be revived by a knock so ominous, I thought surely it must be the angel of death. Yet it was only your brother. Franz looked like some supernatural being, ghost-like. Something right out of Hamlet, ashen and demon-possessed, haunted by the need to get to me as quickly as possible. To hell with the cold, driving rain and the dire warnings not to travel that night. Teresa said, I must get these to you. She could not bring herself to destroy them, yet she feared the consequences should they get into the wrong hands. I took one look at these. I had not seen them in nearly a decade, yet I knew exactly what they were. I feared touching them, lest they crumble before me like a trio of fallen leaves. Where did you get these? Franz said something, but suddenly I couldn't hear him. You and my damned hearing, two birds of a feather, you came and you went without warning, leaving me time and time again in that black hole. Write it down, damn it, write it down! Why was I shouting? He was not the deaf one. died. Teresa said, "You must give them to Luigi. Beethoven must know how Pepe really felt. He must know how she suffered, how their love went on and on and on. How Josephine longed for him even until the end." And he tore the page out of the book, threw it into the fire, and was gone. Like a phantom, like my hearing, like you. Again, I began drinking. And I kept on drinking and drinking and drinking. Then I threw on my old top coat, shoved these letters into my pocket, and began walking. Everything felt real. Everything was dark, dark as death. My feet were cold, blistering, and drenched. My teeth were chattering still. I could not stop myself from walking. 1812, 1821, 1812, 1821, 1812 hammered into my head. 1821 engraved upon your tombstone. 1812 carved upon my heart. Like an answer to my prayers, you were through with the Baron. I was awestruck, I was frightened. Financially, it had not been a good year for you or for me, for the rest of Austria for that matter. We would have your 4 children plus the Baron's bastard to support. Not to mention you, my beloved, whose exalted tastes ran extravagant. Could I really afford to feed 6 more mouths? Could you really bear to lose your precious titles, perhaps even your children? Questions, questions, questions. Damn it to hell. Love. Wasn't that supposed to be the answer? Morning, 6th July. My angel, my all, my second self. Only a few words today, written with a pencil with thine. Why this deep sorrow where necessity speaks? Can our love exist otherwise than by sacrifices, than by our not expecting everything? Canst thou alter the fact that thou art not wholly mine, that I am not wholly thine? Alas, look into the beauties of nature and calm thy mind for what must be endured. Love demands all, and with perfect right. We shall probably soon see each other again. I cannot communicate to thee today the reflections I have been making during the last few days on my life. Were our hearts ever near to one another, I should make none such. My heart is full of much that I have to say to thee. Ah, there are moments in which I feel that language is absolutely nothing. Take courage. Continue to be my true, my only treasure, my all as I am thine. The gods must send the rest. That which is ordained to be and shall be for us. Thy faithful Ludwig. Monday evening, 6th July. Thou grievest, thou the dearest of all beings. Ah, where I am, there thou art with me. With our united efforts I shall attain my object. I shall pass my life with thee. What a life, whereas now, where, without thee, persecuted at times by the kindness of others, a kindness which I neither deserve nor wish to deserve. Servility from man to his fellow creature pains me, and when I consider myself in relation to the universe, what am I? What is he who is called the greatest? And yet, even here is displayed the divine in man. I weep when I think that thou wilt probably receive no tidings of me before Saturday. However much thou mayest love me, I love thee more fervently still. Never hide thy feelings from me. Good night. Oh God, so near, so far apart. Is not our love a true celestial mansion, enduring as the vault of heaven itself? "7th July. Good morning. Even before before I rise, my thoughts go out to thee, my immortal beloved. At times with joy, then again mournfully, waiting to hear if fate be favorable to us. I can only live entirely with thee or not at all. Yes, I am resolved to wander apart from thee until the moment shall arrive when I may fly into thine arms, may feel my home in thee, and send my soul encompassed by thine into the world of spirits. Yes, alas, it must be so. Thou wilt be prepared, for thou knowest my faithfulness. Never can another possess my heart, never, never. Oh God, why must I fly from what is so dear to me, and yet my life in Vienna is, as at the present, a sorrowful one. Thy love made me at once the happiest and the most miserable of men. Angel, be calm. Only by calmly viewing our existence can we attain our aim of passing our lives together. Be calm. Love me today, yesterday, what longing, what tears for thee, for thee, for thee, my life, my all. Oh, continue to love me, never misjudge the faithful heart of thy lover. Ever thine, ever mine, ever ours.
There is no pain so great as the memory of joy that can never be revisited.
When writing my music, I'd often ask, what if two people fell passionately in love? It must be, yes, it must be. And yet they tell themselves, no, it cannot be. What happens to that love when it burrows underground? What is it to know where the key to the universe is? To know where the love you've always wanted is, and to know so long as you walk this earth, you can never have it again. What is it? It is pain without end.
Still, be contained within that pain is pure joy, knowing for one moment you and she basked in the presence of the divine, witnessing all that is sacred and holy and eternal. It was as if the whole universe opened up before me, and I could feel every emotion under the sun. I could feel the chaos, the order, the absolute rightness, the wrongness, the rapture, the pain, and oh God, the longing, the agony. Such bliss, such sorrow, the oneness, the separation, the salvation, the damnation, the hello, the goodbye, the commitment, the betrayal, the joining, the splitting, the crucifixion, the resurrection, the wanting, the not wanting, the moving toward, the rushing away, the innocent, the guilt, the moment of truth, the lies, the courage, the cowardice, the strength, the weakness, the fullness, the emptiness, the light, the dark, laughter, tears, compassion, cruelty, rejoicing, remorse, the rebellion, the surrender, the clear sight, and the blindness, the music, and the deafening silence that echoed from here to hell and back. And yes, damn it, I knew, even as I wrote these letters, that I was filled with all the self-same doubts and fears that she was. Even then I knew I could never forget the love. And yet I knew in my heart of hearts that all we were ever going to have was that one clandestine day of passion. One moment where time stood still, one sizzling summer afternoon, to have, to hold, now and forevermore.
9 months later, April 8th, 1813, Minona was born. I went to Josephine demanding to know if Minona were my daughter.
I really don't know whose child she is.
What the hell does that mean?
You were like a madman.
You were still sleeping with your husband when you came to me?
She would not answer you.
Perhaps Minona was immaculately conceived.
More likely Satan's daughter incarnate. She's the bastard child of the King of Prussia, for all I know.
She made me swear on my mother's grave never to come from Minona. We vowed to carry our secret till death and beyond, to protect Minona and the other children, to save our reputations, to preserve her precious titles.
Titles? 50 years from now, no one will remember her count nor her baron. You offered her your immortal name.
And she turned it down. That night when Franz returned these letters to me, I went into a trance. I walked and walked and walked.
You wanted to fall off the face of the earth.
Hours and hours later, dazed and spent, I stopped people on the street to ask directions. I'm Beethoven. I seem to have lost my way. Everyone just said asinine things like,
I'm Marie Antoinette. I seem to have lost my head.
I'm Napoleon. I seem to have lost my empire.
everyone the jester, everyone the fool. Enraged, I began banging on house windows and doors. Before long, those village idiots had me thrown in jail. I'm Beethoven! The arresting Arch-ass shouted back at me, why you are not Beethoven, why you are a tramp! Hour after hour, I sat in solitary confinement, proclaiming my innocence. Totally spent, I screamed at the top of my lungs, Florestan's aria. Oh heaven, such bleak darkness, what dreadful nothingness. Deserts surrounding me, no other sign of life here. Tiresome tribulations, thy will be done, I need not pray. In the springtime of my life, all joy perished, truth was spoken, prison is my payment. This cross I resign myself to carry, and I willingly die for my cause. And then, just as Florestan had witnessed a vision of his Leonora coming to rescue him, I saw my beloved Josephine.
Enough, B. Enough already. Stop torturing yourself. The past is gone. Deal with what is. Go home. Face what you must face.
What can I say to my Karl to make him want to live? God knows it was my art, my music that saved me.
Karl is no artist.
Nor will he ever be. Not now, not ever.
You must speak to him man to man, heart to heart.
I will tell him so long as we have one good deed left in us, and it is our sacred duty to live.
Go to Stefan.
I saw his wife on the glacis right before I came here. I asked her, why have you heard the news? My Karl shot himself. There's still hope he may survive, but what about me? He's brought such shame upon me.
She said she'd sent for her husband. He'll know how to handle the authorities.
Yes. Yes. Stefan is the answer to my prayers.
Your nephew always admired Stefan for being a court counselor in the war department and all.
To Karl, that means something grand. As for me, his guardian, I only make music. Who cares? Real men make war.
Stefan will help get your nephew in the army. That is what Karl says he wants. Perhaps he can avoid going to jail then.
The jail or army, same difference. God save you, Karl. God save us all.
Remember when 3 great hymns from the Missa Solemnis were performed along with the premiere of your 9th? Why, you couldn't even hear the audience's applause.
Who needed their applause? I heard God's praise on high. Bravo, Beethoven, bravo. My beloved Missa Solemnis, from the heart may it return to the heart.